Welcome to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex, and today we're taking a look at Freshly Frosted on the Nintendo Switch, a puzzle game with a love for donuts, but does this one hit the mark, or are you better off spending that cash elsewhere? Well, hit subscribe, but join us here on SwitchCorner for reviews and deals near daily, and let's get started. Freshly Frosted then starts things with a very basic narrative. A woman who is looking to relax, she heads to a meadow where she sits and envisions a donut factory in the sky amongst the clouds. This donut factory she can sort out for that stress relief. That's really about it, but I actually enjoyed the minor spin because this narrator now joins you for the rest of this journey, giving tips, advising on mistakes, and even providing the occasional bit of trivia. If this is not for you as well, you can turn off the dialogue in the options. Gameplay then, and we have 144 stages to work our way through in game. That's going to be presented as 12 boxes of donuts, each containing 12 stages each. Thematically, from the very beginning, you can see the thought that was put into the design. The concept though really is simple and anyone should be able to play. You need to connect a green conveyor belt to what is a blue, let's call it, donut delivery stand. It's got a lot of similarities, in fact, to a game that was, I think, on the Amiga that I used to play called Pipe Mania or Pipe Dream. The idea there, though, was connect water pipes together so water could flow. This, it very much feels like it's giving that idea a modern spin. Naturally, though, along the way with progression, this won't remain a simple task, and while we open the game with just basic plain donuts, it will start to introduce new challenges. Think here though, multiple conveyor belts to connect, each with different donut type requirements that is going to be down to toppings. That means not only now do we need to create the path, but along the way we will need to add, let's say, frosting, sprinkles and cream as just a few of the early examples. They even need to be applied in a specific order. The repeating idea though was that each box, each batch of levels introduced a new mechanical topping, and it will at least give one opening stage that feels more like a tutorial over anything else. You can also then control the direction of the conveyor belt, but the game always indicates the right direction thanks to a handy arrow at the conveyor belt starting points. I did love as well the slew of accessibility options packed in here, creating the path, for example, that can be single click or click and hold so you drag. It's built around a grid based system as well, so it's definitely easy to navigate. You can then change the UI size, which is always good if you want to play handheld. You can select text progression, so is it automatic for the dialogue. You can even add an input cooldown. It definitely gets challenging as well towards the latter half of the game, and that's good to see for me personally. That's kind of what I want in a puzzle experience. That said though, the game understands some will play this simply to unwind. They won't want that stress level, so you can, if you want to, pause the game and skip a level or even get a hint. That hint will place the kind of opening couple of blocks for each conveyor, so you're at least kind of getting an idea of the direction you need to go. That said though, it's worth noting that is only one hint per level. It's kind of a shame you couldn't stack them over and over. Expected to keep dialing things up though as well, the idea of the ordering of the toppings or even the conveyor belts, they will begin to merge. Don't want to give too much away today, that's why I've kept all of the footage to the first 5 or so boxes, but it definitely will start to challenge you. Problems end by the end game, it does take a turn where it feels like there's only really one solution over multiple possibilities. I always like a little freedom, but that will also impact the idea of replayability. Then the controls are simple, the conveyor changes direction with movement, but just occasionally I would find that a dash awkward. Also, when you're filling the entire screen with these conveyor belts, one false move it can spell a disaster. I frequently combined, one conveyor with another, and yeah, it can get a little bit weird. Fortunately though, in these moments it does have an unlimited undo button and the ability to wipe the entire screen should you choose to. My final issue, no touchscreen controls, and I wish they'd found a way to incorporate this. It just feels like touching and dragging on screen would have been a perfect fit for the design. Overall though, for gameplay, there's a decent chunk of game here for what is a budget price point, and yeah, as puzzle games go, it's definitely one of the more interesting I've seen in recent memory. Graphically then, it's going for a low poly style, incredibly clean looking, and the colour palette tends to lean into that more kind of pastel designs. I think given the gameplay style and narrative though, this works really well. It creates that kind of dreamy look of staring into the sky with a cloud formation background, and yeah, it makes the stages just easy to understand. There's also a nice variety of donuts as well. The game made me often incredibly hungry, which is no question a win on the game's part, and I think for what it set out to achieve, it absolutely delivers. Audio finally, and the soundtrack I really liked. I wouldn't say there's a huge selection, but when you think you've completed a puzzle, you press the X button to start up production, and the music, it really kicks in. Here, each topping is lined up to the beat though, and there's something incredibly satisfying in that. In fact, there's an option to fast forward through these moments, but I couldn't help but sit back and enjoy my rewards. Alongside the music, not a huge amount else, some very basic sound effects, and then the voiceover. That's presented in an extremely calm tone, but I will say there's always a sense of emotion to it as well. So overall, a freshly frosted, it's a great little bite-sized budget puzzle game. I love that theme and the presentation, from the visuals to the audio design. I think it's working together really well, kind of balancing puzzle challenge with the relaxed tone it's striving for. It's also then not light on content. I think 144 stages, that is more than fair, and while it starts simple, it does pack a decent challenge for, the hardcore puzzle fans out there. I still had some issues, like a touchscreen controls. Some levels felt a little too rigid in their solution, and the controls, 95% of the time they were fine, but conveyor direction, it can add unnecessary confusion and mistakes. That said though, again, like puzzle fans, I say take a look. It's perfect for handheld. That is where I spent the majority of my time, and yeah, today it's a great 8 out of 10 from me. It's for sure been a nice surprise. Will you be adding this one to the library then, or holding onto that cash? A shout out then to the patrons of the channel who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe, join us here on SwitchCorner for reviews and deals near daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.